And then I also wanted to ask about downloads. I've been following you guys on socials, and I repost some of your stuff. And you've been really blowing up, it seems like, on the downloads. You guys have been seeing a huge uptick in the last 6 to 12 months, it seems like. Um, what does that look like? What's it feel like? But also, what do you attribute that to? Is it because Windows continues to enshittify with every new update? Is it just people discovering Linux for the first time by chance? What are you guys kind of seeing back there?
Yeah, I think it's a multitude of reasons. Just we've been around for quite a long time, 16, 17 years, and it's the uptake of Linux in general, as well as ZorinOS, is nothing like it's ever been before. And sure, there are many decisions that Microsoft have made that have given users reasons to think about alternatives, and certainly that's been a massive path for people on their way to Linux and ZorinOS. But also the Linux ecosystem, the software has gotten way better over the years. People are able to use a lot more of the apps that they use for work or productivity or play with games on Linux more so than ever before. And that just makes Linux a lot more accessible. Certainly in the short term, like say in the last 3 months since we released ZorinOS 18, a massive driver of growth to Linux and ZorinOS has been the end of Windows 10 support, where a lot of the computers that have Windows 10 running on it, by some estimates, 250 million computers can't upgrade to Windows 11. So either, those users have to throw those computers away and buy new ones just to continue running a supported version of Windows and with Windows 11, or they could switch to an alternative. And given with the increase of hardware prices, RAM prices, especially in recent times, that's just given more reasons for users to think of alternatives and research them. And because of the work we and the Linux community have done throughout the many years that we've been developing the system, it has gotten a lot more user friendly. The software support has improved, so it actually has become a viable alternative to Windows that people can switch over to as general computer users. You don't have to be super technical or an engineer to switch to Linux nowadays. So the barriers to entry for new users have gone way down, and the reasons for people to look for alternatives have gone way up in recent times.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. I can't believe just how poorly Microsoft botched this whole Windows 10 thing. I mean, and even for us, we've done some coverage for it through Surveillance Report and different videos about Windows 10, and they perform quite well. It resonates with people. People are pissed about it. I mean, it's a ton of e-waste that's been created by Microsoft, and I don't understand, even from a business perspective, why Microsoft would jeopardize, if the number you cited is accurate, 250 million computers to be lost to other operating systems. Like, to pay for an operating system and have a fully functional device and not have official updates coming to it anymore is enough reason for a lot of people to move to a Mac, or just keep the same hardware and move to Linux, or maybe buy a new computer with Linux. But it's pretty mind blowing. So yeah.
Yeah, it is an interesting choice. Obviously, Microsoft as an organization has changed throughout the years. More and more of the revenue is coming from, online services, enterprise services, software as a service tools, more so AI now as well, which would benefit from, newer, more powerful computers with neural processing units. So maybe that's another reason why they want to encourage people to buy new computers. Ultimately, that helps to contribute to their bottom line if the data that users are generating through the computers make their way back to Microsoft. Who knows how they handle that data? There are many ways that it might make sense to them, but from the standpoint of an ordinary computer user, it might not always be to our benefit. So yeah, it's just something to think about.
Yeah, did you see, this was very refreshing. Dell, I believe at CES, came forward and said, we're done with this AI marketing stuff. Our users don't care. it doesn't resonate with them. And so Dell kind of moved away from the AI marketing, which I thought was quite refreshing.
Yeah, it's AI as a tool, but also as a buzzword. We see that there's a large disconnect between what users want out of their technology and out of their computers and what the big tech companies want to provide. So there's obviously a lot of buzz and a lot of hype around AI, especially amongst the big tech companies and the investors behind them. But when we listen to our users, we hear a lot of people saying that please don't include any AI tools. We just want a normal computer experience that works. Some users may like to use AI, but on their own terms. So that's one of the reasons why we haven't introduced any AI tools for the sake of AI. We want to be neutral on that standpoint because that's what our users want. Again, there's also the factor of the big tech companies using users' data to train their AI models. And that contributes to their bottom line, but not necessarily to the interests of the users. And that also fuels the disconnect in sentiment between the big companies and people actually using the technology. So it's an interesting time. And it's interesting that even Dell admitted to this shift in sentiment. And we have seen that, consumer reports show that AI is very low down the list of reasons why normal people choose one technology product over another. So maintaining a close connection to your users and being really aligned with your users makes a massive difference in actually delivering a product that makes sense for users.